I'm now joined by UofL Media Relations Director Kenny Klein, who worked with her, I believe, you worked with her for all of those years, correct, Kenny? She was here at UofL?
That I did, yes, sir.
Well, can you speak to the job she did here? Let's start with that first, since this is her most recent employer. What was she like to work with, and did these allegations, whatever you want to call them, take everybody over there at UofL by surprise?
Well, I think it's been well documented that she's done a great job during her years at the University of Louisville, and in fact was big within this community too, not just at the University of Louisville, but within the city of Louisville. Was very entrenched and has been honored many times over the years for her work. And it is difficult to see the things that happened so many years ago come back and haunt someone, but obviously that has happened, and she's in the middle of dealing with that right now, as is the entire institution at Rutgers.
I'm sure people have asked, well, did the University of Louisville know about these allegations, either the lawsuit or this letter that the players are said to have written when she was at Tennessee at the time? When people say, why didn't UofL know, what's your response to that?
Well, I think everybody knows Tom Jurich and how thorough he is with coaches that he hires and such, and how good of a job he does. Now, you can take Julie's as a for instance. Julie was the head coach at Northern Arizona while Tom was the athletic director there, so he had a prior relationship with her there, had stayed in touch with her, and through up in the time he hired her, when we hired her, she was with USA Volleyball. And did he check on Tennessee? Sure he did. Did he know about any letter? I doubt that he did, because the athletic director says there wasn't even a letter. So he knew that it didn't necessarily end well for her there, but at Tennessee, but that could have been tied to wins and losses. Certainly did not know of any specifics involving abuses or alleged abuses while she was there. But so I mean, Tom had a relationship with her, had known her for many years, and I'm sure had followed her through the years and had checked up on her, and obviously by the work she has done here for so many years, was a great choice at the time for us.
Yeah, I mean, her tenure here, certainly, nobody has had anything but positive things to say about while she was at Louisville. Was there, at any point while she was here, any notion of, whether it be dealing with student athletes, dealing with coaches, that there was any sort of abusive nature of that?
You know, it's really tough to hear all this stuff, because it's really quite the opposite. Julie was really a champion, and has been, for what we call our Cards Care program, which has a lot of different components to it. It's about student development. It's about the nutrition and healthy lifestyles, and mental preparation, and career planning, and so many elements of an individual as a person that aren't necessarily related to what they do on the field or courts. And Julie was really a champion in that, and that's why it is very difficult to hear some of the things out there and the things she's being labeled as, when for the last 15 years, I mean, that's the Julie that I know that's been out there with all those life skills, and really promoting that within our department for all of our student athletes, not just any one sport or what have you. And she's done a very good job of organizing that, and it's a great plan for us.
Yeah, it's interesting as you say this, because we're watching footage, as you're on the phone and can't see this, but footage of her sort of high-fiving a number of the female student athletes at a number of awards. Ann Cordes has come out and spoken on her behalf. I know Sandy Pearsall with softball has said that she feels like she is on some level a role model, or at least somebody to look up to for somebody who could achieve what she has achieved at this point, which is to be an athletic director at a major Division I school. At least as we talk, she is at this point. Is that fair to say that her other coaches that worked underneath her had the same things to say about her?
You don't get to be an athletic director at Rutgers. They didn't just blindly go out and pick her. I mean, obviously they did their homework. Now, could they have found this latest thing, and should the media have known about this latest thing about these players at Tennessee? I don't know how they could have. I mean, because there was nothing there. This isn't something that the media uncovered. This is something that one of the players on that team chose to reach out to a media representative representative and start that ball rolling, and then them following up and those things. This isn't something that was just laying around to be found. So that was one little thing in all this process of thinking, well, how come the Louisville media didn't? They're easier than the national media. Goodness, if it was there, I'm sure someone would have found it. I mean, the problem is it wasn't there. It wasn't there in the open, and I'm not saying there wasn't issues or there wasn't things happening, but it was not there. The athletic director there even said that there was no letter and no something there. So it's all those things. Again, they happened so many years ago, and now you're having to deal with them now. And certainly, some people classify them as significant, some don't. Some, what has happened to you since that time? Have you learned from them? Or are you that same person? If that's the case, so that's where we are now. Is I'm sure people are trying to determine, is what's real and what's not real from that time so many years ago, and does what happened with Julie and all the things that she's accomplished since that time, does that overweigh it?
And what specifically were her duties here? I mean, it appeared that, there's a number of sports. She was basically the de facto athletic director for, particularly on the women's side. But if you had to say what her job duties were at U of L, I'm sure it's a long list, but, do your best to sort of describe what her role was here.
Well, she was the primary coordinator for supervisor for 20 of our 23 sports here at the university. So she had direct oversight in that. And then, again, those student development and the sports medicine, the strength and conditioning, those areas within our athletic department that she oversaw as well, and helped develop so many of the programs that we have in place here now. So, and then she was on so many committees within the city as well, and has been tied to so many great causes within the city of Louisville. She's also been on the national scene has been the president of the Division I volleyball committee. She's been president of the NACTA for women, basically. I'm not sure. I think it's the National Collegiate Women's Administrators Association or something along those lines. So she's not only accomplished here locally in the things that she had done, but had done great work on the national scene as well.
All right, well, Kenny, we certainly appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us here this afternoon.
Well, thank you.